Alright. Alright. It's time. This thing that me and some friends made a few years ago, like back in 2020 maybe? Oh boy. Oh, here it is. Cool new Pestyquest. Oh boy. Yeah, this was a passion project because, you know, cool new webcomic, a Homestuck fan comic I really like, did not really have any equivalent for Pestyquest. It had a equivalent for like Hive Swap, and I guess it technically had one for Friend Sim, even though that was just a quick joke. And yeah, it just I was like, well, there's no equivalent for Pestyquest, so what if I make it? And this was the result. I did not make it alone. There's credits here. I refer to myself with taking username in the cool new webcomic community, because that was the thing I did for the forums, and it ended up sticking. Producers, it's you! No, really. I didn't know what to put for producers. Writers, yeah, the prologue is mostly written by me, but one of the crew members, Robots, helped. Jahan, mostly written by Robots, but you sits here, but you know, this person and me did some little bits for it, and then Swebro was like written entirely by Robots. Like, Robots just kind of carried the writing, and like, I will try to remember what parts I did and didn't do. Like, what parts I made and what parts were Robots. But I will say, like, anything art-wise, I mean, anything programming-wise was by me. Character artist, Jahan by Robots. Dad, who will appear by another crew member, Elvin Potatoes. Responsible for the Cool and Vast Error fan comic. And Swedbro by Dark Arts, which I don't really remember anything else she did within the cool new webcomic community. I think she was just kind of hanging out in the server and was like around while I was thinking of doing this, and was like, okay, sure, I'll help. I should talk to her again. I'm still in contact with her. I mean, really, I'm technically in contact with like all the crew members aside from one, but I just don't really talk to most of them. But I should. Is background artist. I guess this is technically spoilers, but I mean, I did make a few with my very subpar art skill at the time. I mostly just trace shit in a silly way, but yeah. Ending illustrations. I wanted to do ending illustrations, but I couldn't really figure out how at the time. Maybe I could nowadays, but like, yeah, mostly just one person did all the illustrations for each thing. Oh yeah, and this will come up eventually. Musicians. Oh yeah. We wanted to like. We were mostly just using music from like the cool new webcomic music team, like just using random songs from it because none of us really knew how to make music. We did go into the server that was around at the time for it and ask about getting music composed for it, and they did think about it. There are some people that were on board, but the only thing that really got composed before the project ultimately got canned was a victory theme. That's the only piece of original music made for it. Programming. I did all of it, and yeah. Other stuff, yeah. Credits, I credited a stock image Clover by who makes the Shutterstock images. I still don't know this to this day. Yeah, and of course leaving the default credit stuff in. I don't think I did anything with this. No, I just left it default. Yeah. I was... There's a period of time where I was thinking of editing the options menu, but I decided I'd save it for a later point because I couldn't figure it out. Yeah. still. And now for the actual start. We have Volume 1 of placeholders and placeholders, and I was still figuring this out. And scrolling all the way to the bottom, this bonus volume, which I'll cover soon. I think I'm gonna cover this in like a choice-by-choice basis. It'll mean there'll be a good amount of parts to this, but I think that's a fun way to make this, like the Voxus dub of Hives of Friends, and don't see any reason not to. But yeah, Volume 1 of placeholders and placeholders. You see a glimmer in the distance, a bright white light slowing down the surge of panic. You move towards it. Yeah, this is literally just the Pestyquest prologue. It starts a little bit in. It's not going through the entire prologue. It kinda, like, good on me for just jumping to the point that's actually relevant. The house collapses into the form of a small symbolic house. Hey, you recognize this house? Does it? Oh well. Looking at that, I did of course, like, draw over the house to make it shittier looking as opposed to, you know, the really smooth looking Pestyquest and, you know, just Homestuck in general. I think if I didn't, like, this is one of the first assets I made for this, so, like, I think if this didn't get canned, I probably would have redrawn this closer to Volume 1's release, but, I didn't. You wonder if you can just... Oh, okay, well, and then you did that. This, vaguely proud of this. I had issues getting this working, because, like, despite the code for this little sequence being directly pasted from Pestyquest code, I was kind of struggling to get it to work properly, because for a good amount of time, only one of them was actually flashing. I figured it out eventually, though, as you can tell. And of course, I made all these images. I don't... This is like the compiled version. I don't think I... wait. Details. Fuck. There we go. There we go. Can't... The thing close up. Why is she orange? Did I do that? Did I make her? I mean, no. I just offset the colors to make it look really weird. Yeah. Kind of works. I think the method I used for choosing all of these was just kind of randomly, like, just taking a random number generator, setting its parameters to the exact amount of pages in Cool New Webcomic, and just choosing them based off that. Of course, there's some that I was like, I have to put these in, like John and Rose's little introduction pages is like. Just felt right to put those in, but like a majority of these, I literally just chose them for like random number generators. This one might have been intentional in the middle. I might have deliberately chose that one, but I don't remember. But yeah, also Obama, very important. This is not used at all. It's just kind of there. I think that's about it for notable things. In the files, I think like everything else is gonna be in the thing itself. Barrage of images hits you, broken camera flashes, so fractured to make sense of them. You just stuck your hand into the most powerful item in the whole of this narrative, and your body is not taking it well. Bright, sizzling pain, it's nerve center, your brain, and radiates out to your extremities. Wow, you are a moron. You aren't a comic character. You aren't meant for this sort of metatextual energy. It hurts, it burns, it unravels you from the inside out, and then everything goes white. Break. I decided, like, instead of making a Cool New Webcomic variant of the little teleportation thing, like, just the whole narrative reset type thing, I decided to just directly insert the We Break GIF as a video file. It's really funny, and that like, if this got officially released, that would have made it to the final release. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, hey, background by me. Wow, the like first custom background is by me. You can see I clearly just traced over the Pestyquest John's house background, but I mean, like, it absolutely works. There's like no reason this is bad or anything. It's just kind of a little lazy. But also, like, I kind of sucked at art, and I wanted to, like, make at least some custom art. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm good by nowadays standards, but I have my elements. It's just I can do so much better than this nowadays. What a lovely morning. There's fresh and crisp. It's early spring, probably. You find yourself on the sidewalk in a suburban neighborhood, facing a neat yet rather lively house. Seems things are rather busy at this particular abode with two men. Kids? You can't really tell, but one of them is behind a tree and the other is climbing up to a window on the second floor. You don't really see any sign that anyone is home, so you're afraid you might have just walked into what could possibly be a robbery. Maybe you should do something? Actually, you know what? I don't need to do this on a choice-by-choice thing. I might as well just do it more like section by section. So, anyway, the wrong option would be to climb up the tree after the red fellow. You must stop that robbery at once. You rush up to that tree and begin to climb after the burglar in the red jumpsuit. The bark feels different than that of a normal tree, strangely sharp and jagged, but no matter. You're about to continue your way up after the burglar when you feel something gripping both of your feet. It's the blue burglar tree here to stop you from preventing his accomplice from breaking in. You hold on to the tree for dear life, kicking in an attempt to make him let go. With one swift kick, you bash him right in the nose with the heel of your foot. He lets go and begins clutching his nose, yelling in pain as blood drips from it. Suddenly, you hear a crash coming from the window. When you look up, you see the red burglar with a pickaxe embedded in his chest. Alright, this bad ending was probably written by robots, and I will say exactly how I know this when we get to the other choice. Guess someone was home after all. He begins to fall from his perch in a branch. Unfortunately, his descending body lands on you, taking you down with him. Oh boy, something in your body is definitely broken now. You writhe around, but you can't escape your position under the burglar's body. Your face is squished against his fuzzy jumpsuit, leaving no breathing room whatsoever. You slowly feel the air leaving your lungs. Now, remember how I said that there's a custom victory theme as the only piece of music for this game? We also wanted to do a custom game over theme, but we never really got around to having one composed. I think there were a few composed, but that was back in the cool new webcomics, the cool new music team server, which I'm no longer in. It's invite only, and I don't really want to search around for an invite if it's even still up nowadays. In fact, there's like a channel made for the Pestyquest shit, and I wouldn't be surprised if it got like completely deleted or something. But so you might think, well, since it wasn't composed, well, it's planned to be. There had to be a placeholder, right? Yes, there is, and the smart thing would be to just directly copy and paste the one from Friendsim and Pestyquest as, you know, a temporary game over thing until, you know, one was actually composed. However, I did not do that. Instead, I did this.
Da 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 da. This is a placeholder theme. If you hear this theme in the main game, it's a mistake I made and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Da da.
Yeah, you better be sorry.
Da da da.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, also, that is the thing I tried to draw. I don't think I have the asset anymore, I probably deleted it, but that was a game over thing I tried to draw as practice before giving up and deciding, okay, sure, well, I'll let other people do it for me, I guess. Yeah. And of course, like, continuing, just put you on the main menu. I should probably mention this menu thing. I'm very proud of this. A lot of the actual, like, the coding for, like, you know, this and whatever were, like, directly stolen from Pestyquest, but, like, the background itself, it was originally just a still image drawn by Dark Arts, and then I was like, what if I edit this image to be, like, a little looping animation? And I put a lot of effort into it, and it turned out really well, and I'm proud of it. Also, of course, I made the... If I look in the credits, where the music is, of course I made the title screen... Oh. Okay, I guess I misremembered. Oh, hey, that actually works. Yay! The song on the Cool New Music team called Cool New Visual Novel title screen was absolutely a consideration for this, and I think it was used on a title screen at one point, but I ended up settling on this because I just really like this song. Anyway, other half. You to buy some time. You yell at the possible burglar and attempt to attract some attention from bystanders to discourage them. However, it seems only the burglar in the blue jumpsuit notices you. On the other hand, the red bandit doesn't seem to be able to hear you. With the blue looter now aware of your presence, you must do something before he alerts his partner. You rush forward, grabbing onto the blue desperado's arms to try and keep him in place, which unfortunately alerts the attention of his comrade, who turns to look at you with an expression of shock, you think. Honestly, these two are hideous to look at, and you can't read any of their emotions. Just after he looks down at you and begins climbing down to deal with you, a pickaxe slides through the window. Was it someone actually home this whole time? Maybe these desperados may not have been the thugs you thought they were. Yeah, I thought it'd be really funny to just use a different synonym of, like, burglar or robber or whatever, just every time it came up. So, in the parts I wrote, I just used a different synonym every time it came up. And that's why I'm pretty certain that the bad end route was done by robots, because it doesn't constantly switch the synonyms, which I would have absolutely done if I wrote it. Anyway, either that or they just have poor planning skills. Whatever the case, you see this as a cue to let go of the blue individual, who then probably slaps you across your face. Ouch, maybe you did deserve that, but it still hurts. You take the fact that he doesn't lay additional assault upon you as enough to trust that they really aren't the filth you took them for. But then, what about that window? Looking up, there's a small kid with glasses and dangerously sharp hair staring right down at you. He starts to climb out of his window? Wait, no, stop, you'll hurt yourself. Actually, he doesn't hurt himself. Instead, his legs begin to stretch down from the window to the ground. What is this kid made of? Whatever the case, there's one thing you know. You must make friends with at least one of these characters. Yeah. And that's the prologue. This is such a half-assed thing. I think this would have been fine to use in the final release, but I know some of the team members wanted me to remake it because stuff like, you know, this being like these not aligning properly, and, you know, the size different makes it shitty in the bad way instead of just, you know, the standard cool new webcomic way. But yeah, that's the intro. And I think that is a good time to end this, I suppose. So, assuming there's going to be 4 parts, then the next one will probably be John. See you soon.